In this video, we're going to do problems 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the review of the product, quotient, and chain rules for 3.1.3.2. So starting with problem 1, excuse me, it is a product rule problem. So, it's a product rule problem. So let's get our good notation out, and we will be solving this right now. So you start out saying, okay, f prime of x equals the left, just write it just as it is, d right, so d right is just going to be 4x cubed, and then plus right d left. Okay, so d left is going to be, let's see, bring down the power and write x squared plus 6, reduce the power by 1. I'm going to move this problem, so we're not going to do it there. Then take the derivative of the inside, which is doing the chain rule, which is this derivative, which is times 2x. Okay, so that's first step. So now let's combine a couple of more terms. So I'm going to pull the 4x cubed in front, and then I'm going to have x squared plus 6 to the third. I'm going to combine the 3 and the 2x to give me 6x, and I'm going to have the x the fourth minus 7 next, followed by the x squared plus 6 squared. Okay, so now we're going to do greatest common factor factoring. So, and you have to take it down like this, because our goal is to get it to factored form, or as close as possible to factored form. Okay, so looking at the 4 and the 6, I have a 2 in common. Looking at the x cubed and the x, I have an x in common. Then looking at the x squared plus 6, I have one of those squared in common. Okay, so I pull that out. Now let's get back what we need. Okay, I have this, and I need this. So I'm going to multiply by 2 and an x squared. And I need one of these, just one. Okay, so let's change again. And I have this. I need this. So add. So I have a 2x, I need a 6x, that means I need a 3. And I don't have any of these that match, but I have x squared plus 6 squared already in the front, so I'm done with that. Okay, so now we're going to take this term in the bracket, and I'm going to distribute and combine like terms. So that's our next job. So let's do that. So I have f prime x equals this first term does not change, so just copy it down carefully. Now what's going to happen, I'm going to start putting them in parens now, because I'm done with the greatest common factor factoring. So 2x squared times x squared is 2x to the fourth plus 12x squared, continuing, plus 3x to the fourth minus, careful here, 21. All right, so let's see if we can write it one more time to get everything nicely packaged. So we have f prime of x equals, notice I'm keeping my good notation the whole way down, and that is my expectation for you too. It's going to help keep everything clear. Okay, so I have 2x times x squared plus 6 squared. Now let's combine from the highest power, so we'll have it in standard form. So 2x to the fourth plus 3x to the fourth gives me 5x to the fourth plus 12x squared minus 21. Okay, so that's my best form. I'm just looking, is there anything else I can take out? And there's really not. And so I will say that we are done at this point. We're going to go on to the next page. I'll do number 2. Okay, so beginning number 2, g prime of x equals left d right. So I'm going to bring down the 4. So let me just make that look nicer. So 4, and then 3x plus 1 cubed times 3, which is the chain rule derivative of the inside the parens. So that's left d right plus right, which was the 3x plus 1 to the 4th power, d left, which is just going to be 6x squared minus 5. Okay, so let's clean that up. So my first step is going to be to bring numbers in front. So I have a 4 and a 3. I'm going to have the 12 come in front. I'm going to have 2x cubed minus 5x follow it. And then follow closely behind by 3x plus 1 cubed. Plus, I have no numbers to pull in front. So I'm just going to put expressions in front. So I think I'll put 6x squared minus 5. And then I have 3x plus 1 to the 4th. Okay, so now we're ready for greatest common factor factoring. Because remember, the goal is to have it be in factored form. So looking, I see that I have the 3x plus 1's in common. And the highest power is to the 3rd. So I take out just that. The 3x plus 1, that's to the 3rd. Now I introduce my brackets, and as is our normal method, I'm going to look here, and knowing that I have this, what do I need to put back in the bracket? So I definitely need the 12. I definitely need the 2x cubed minus 5x. And then I don't need any of the last term because it matches the one I have in front already. So that piece is done. So now let's do, I'll get a different color. Let's do the next term. So here's our next term. Bring down your operation. I have this. I need that. So I need one more 3x plus 1. And I also need to copy down 6x squared minus 5. Okay, and I'll put that in the bracket. Okay, so then let's see what we're going to do there. I think in the bracket I have a fair amount of work I can do. Some easy, some a little bit more complicated, but we will continue on down this path. So g prime of x equals, okay, this is already done. It's in fine form. Do not cube that out. That would be a mistake. I'm going to change the parens because I'm going to work towards making factors. So distributing the 12, I have 24x cubed minus 60x. Okay, so now I'm going to have to FOIL these terms. So doing the first gives me 18x cubed. The inner gives me 6x squared. The outer gives me minus 15. And last gives me minus 5. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to go one more step. Once again, the 3x plus 1 stays the same. Now, I'm making a point of this because sometimes as you're cleaning up one part of the problem, you forget to bring the other part down. So just be careful about that, please. Okay, so now let's put things in standard form. The highest power is x to the 3rd. Let's combine 24 and 18, and that gives us what, 42? So 42x cubed. I just took care of this and this. Okay, let's go with the x squared next. 6x squared. Subtract away the 60x. So far I've taken care of those. And now minus 15 minus, oh, sorry. I copied down something incorrect. Let me just see. Did I? Yes. I'm so sorry. This is 15x. So let me just correct that while I'm right here. So let me change that. And it's going to be minus 15x. Okay, so that gives me pause because this then becomes minus 75. Okay, so this is minus 75x and then minus 5. So that's correct. So I can't really, I can't factor that. So I'm going to leave it be. So it's in the best form I can get it to, and that would be my final answer. Okay, let's work on number 3. So again, product rule, f prime of x equals left d right times the chain rule, so that's times 2x, plus right d left. So bring the 3 down. You have x squared plus 3. Don't forget this power. And then that is to the 2x. Done. Okay, so let's start cleaning up. The first thing I do is pull out my numbers and my single variables. So I have a 2, and an x. So that makes it 4x in front here. And then I have x squared plus 3 cubed and x squared minus 3. Okay, that piece is done. Plus, pull out the numbers, 3 and 2x gives me 6x, took care of that and that. And then I have x squared minus 3 squared times x squared plus 3 also squared. Okay, so that's where we are so far. Okay, next step is to start doing greatest common factor factoring. So look at the 4x and the 6x, and what they have in common is a 2x. Then I'm looking at the x squared plus 3, and I see the highest power in common is the second power. Yes. So x squared plus 3 squared, and then look at the x squared minus 3, and the highest power they have in common is the first power. Okay, so make sure you have those set. Now my bracket comes so that I know what I was doing. So if I highlight as normal, I want to get this back, and I have this. So I definitely need a 2, and then I'm going to need 1 of the x squared plus 3's. Okay, so that's good. So now I'm going to look over here. Okay, I have this, I need that. So bring down the operation, and then I'm going to say, okay, I have a 2x, I need a 6x, so I need a 3 here. And then I have x squared plus 3 to the second. That's what I need. I'm good, but I do need 1 more x squared minus 3 to complete the relationship. Okay, next step, writing it out. Okay, this is all perfect, so just make sure you copy it down correctly, because that's pretty easy to just miss a number while doing this, since your brain's thinking ahead to cleaning up what's in the bracket. So I'm going to introduce parens now, and let's distribute. So I have 2x squared plus 6 plus 3x squared, careful here, minus 9. Okay, so we can still clean up this last paren. So I'm just copying over. And now putting things in standard form, 2x squared plus 3x squared gives me 5x squared. I have no single x's, no linear terms, just a constant, which will make this minus 3. And that is all good. Okay, so looking things over, that's my best case scenario. So I am done with problem number 3. Let's go on to problem 4. Okay, here's problem 4. So I'm going to say g prime of x equals left d right times the derivative of the inside. I'm going to write on the next line, plus right d left 4x squared minus 1 to the third times 2x. Okay, so I'm going to try to write a little bit smaller. Combining my numbers and my single variables, I have 10x, and then I have x squared minus 1 to the 4th, x squared plus 1 to the 4th, and then plus, combine your numbers and single variables, and you get 8x, and then I have x squared minus 1 to the 3rd. I'm going to do the order in the same order from the right side and the left side, so it's easier to do greatest common factoring, which we'll do in a second. X squared plus 1 to the 5th. Okay, so now we're ready for greatest common factor factoring. Look at the 10x and the 8x, and they have a 2x in common. I see that I have the highest power of x squared minus 1 I have in common is to the 3rd. And the highest power I have of x squared plus 1 in common is to the 4th. So those are my common terms. Let's introduce the bracket and get back what we need. So I have this, and I need that. So I'm definitely going to need a 5. I definitely need one of the x squared minus 1s. I don't need the x squared plus 1 because they match. Okay, change colors again. Okay, so now I have this, and I want that. So I'm going to bring my addition sign down. I have a 2x. I need a 8x. That's going to be a 4. X squared minus 1 to the 3rd matches. So I just need one of the x squares plus 1s. Okay, close your bracket. Okay, so now we're going to bring things together. So I know I'm doing a lot of rewriting here. Okay, so this has not changed. This is exactly what I had. Now let's see what I have here. I'm going to introduce a paren. I'm going to distribute. So I have 5x squared minus 5 plus 4x squared plus 4. Okay, so I can do a better job at that last one now that everything is multiplied out. So I'm copying for a second here. So 5x squared plus 4x squared gives me 9x squared, and minus 5 and plus 4 is minus 1. Okay, and looking that over, that all looks good, and I am done. So those are the first 4 problems. I hope that is clear to you. If not, go back and listen again and stop. And just star on your paper where you're getting stuck so that you know I have to be very careful when I get to this particular point in the problem.